felt like shooting range and firing the Javelin like we have done it on training ground.
Right now, the danger we're dealing with is in the skies.
Three burned, while the rest were incapacitated.
The first two targets are the selfie in Volnovakha and selfie in Mariupol. Then we'll proceed to breach the corridors. Events are unfolding dynamically and we are working here every day.
Right now we are moving in the direction of Blahodatne. This town was liberated last week. But our special forces operatives continue to work in its vicinity. Further down the front, after Blahodatne, lies Urozhaine. Today this town is under the enemy's precise fire. Omega special forces continue to operate in this direction. What's happening there and what tasks are assigned to our fellows, we will soon find out.
There is an enemy operation in your area. I repeat, there is an enemy operation in your area. Do you copy?
Affirmative. Understood. Dismounting.
Could you describe what's currently going on in Blahodatne? And what potential dangers exist for servicemen like you, who are engaged in combat operations in this area? I've heard that there might be some lost enemy soldiers, and mines could be anywhere.
Now the primary threat is from the air. The enemy constantly monitors and conducts reconnaissance using Krylo drones. And other copters like Mavic. The most significant danger, of course, is enemy artillery. Artillery shelling occurs regularly. They use cluster munitions and rocket artillery. This is the most substantial danger. The enemy deploys Krylo for reconnaissance and delivers artillery strikes on identified targets. Additionally, one of the biggest threats at the moment is their Lancet kamikaze drone, which unfortunately caused losses to our equipment.
Where are we heading to right now, and what will you be showing us?
I'll show you their mortar position, which we've actually known about for a while. And we've been striking and suppressing during our advance. This was the position of 120mm mortar that was constantly working on us. We consistently conducted strikes on it, and it relocated several times, but its last position was right here. Then enemy retreated, or to be more precise, fled. Presumably they suffered casualties here. They left the mortar and the firing equipment behind. They withdrew, ran away, and abandoned the weapons. At the time of our approach, the mortar was right here. I'm confident that one of our units has it now. And it's already being used to strike the enemy with the weapon we've captured. Special units and special forces carry out many specific tasks. To execute an effective offensive, certain measures need to be taken. Basics include our reconnaissance, which aims to gather as much information as possible about the enemy, including their weapons and command points. Once we obtain the necessary data, we proceed to engage the enemy. Speaking about offensive preparations, I can tell you that they were preceded by the destruction of several command posts, including the battalion's CP. We identified it, confirmed its identity after analysis, relayed the information to higher command, and hit this target in collaboration with artillery of AFU. In addition, a lot of work was done in terms of identifying the enemy's firepower. During the days when our advance was ongoing, our unit in a single week, approximate period as I can't recollect exact dates of duration, roughly in a week our unit destroyed 5 tanks, burned them to ashes, damaging several more. We also eliminated several armored vehicles and 2 demining vehicles. I won't even count the light vehicles and trucks.
Could you please tell us how your APC was used in the assault? What tasks were assigned to your unit?
The counterattack began for our crew at 5 in the morning. We drove to the assembly area and advanced to our firing position. We began engaging the enemy, who was located in the forest belt. They had a prepared platoon support point, and we hit it. Our aerial reconnaissance was providing guidance, and we were operating in tandem of 2 APCs. Initially my crew engaged, then we pulled back for reloading, and the second crew with a 30mm cannon also engaged the enemy. We reloaded, relocated then, returned to our position, and shifted our fire to another part of the forest belt, where it appeared that their reinforcements had moved. We couldn't distinguish them. We've been told there are enemies, thus we opened fire. I can't provide exact figures, but I know that as a result of our actions, those forest belts and that square were cleared.
Where would you like to walk next? Which direction would you prefer?
My first target is Selfie in Volnovakha, second one is Selfie in Mariupol. Afterwards, we'll start cutting corridors. We'll either cross the isthmus by swimming or driving, or maybe they'll parachute us from a plane. We'll figure out it somehow.
We had missions to deal with infantry and some anti-tank systems, the Cornet ones. Same way, we can destroy 90mm mortars too. We gotta give a big shout out to the Sternenko Foundation and their squadron, because they hooked us with some drones. You can check out tons of videos on their website, showing our action and direct hits. There are even the video where 2 T-80 tanks beat the dust. Thanks to the drones we've been donated with. This setup is getting the job done, when engineers will do their thing.
For the past month we've been working in Urozhaine, Staromayorske, and the little villages around them. We don't limit ourselves. If there is a job to do and a chance to fly, conduct recon, adjust artillery, we're on it. We've upgraded our gear and honestly, I think we're doing pretty well. We're blanketing some serious ground, using our Mavic drones. I won't specify the exact location, because it's kinda classified. There are all sorts of techie hiccups. The enemy sometimes jams us, and other times they shoot down our drones with different weapons. But all in all, we are getting great results. We are nailing the recon and adjust artillery fire, which is highly accurate.
We mix and match ammo depending on the job. If we spot heavy-duty ammo rolling in, we load up with shaper charge rounds. And we will use our standard munitions, adopted by our engineers, to suit the specific task at hand. We eliminated some enemy's infantry in Neskuchne. As for armored and lightly armored vehicles, we have worked out in Novomayorske.
How much armored equipment did these birds take down?
With different rounds, 3 of them got toasted, while the rest were incapacitated.
My personal war story kicks off in Makariv, just outside Kiev. I gotta say, it hit us like a ton of bricks, not just us, but the whole country and every serviceman. This kind of war was something nobody had ever seen before. The sheer intensity of artillery barrages and the massive enemy vehicle columns was beyond anyone's wildest fears. When you're on the front lines and you hear the rumble of a convoy, and we're talking a few hundred vehicles strong, it's seriously something else. After our time in Kiev region, we got orders to hoof it over to Chernihiv. We spent about a month and a half there doing our thing. Then we got rerouted down to Kharkiv area. Several groups moved to Balaklia, while the other groups, including myself, moved to Izum area. Later on, we received orders to head further south, to the little place in Izum area called Kurulka. Hope I name it correctly. Afterward, we moved to Severodonetsk, and we are here in Velika Novosilka.
We have been on this front for 7 months now. For solid 7 months, we've been working alongside the armored forces of Ukraine, who've been standing their ground. At this point, we are beginning to advance forward.
We've carried out a multitude of specific and crucial missions in this area. We've been on task here, but the enemy began launching assaults toward Vuhledar. They went in with guns blazing, trying to bust through our defensive line.
Our mission was to deploy a unit there, set up ambushes with anti-tank munitions and annihilate the enemy. Let me tell you, our folks carried out this task at 100%, if not more. We sent a bunch of enemy gear to the scrap heap, tanks, infantry fighting vehicles and enemy personnel. Overall, we eliminated 35-40 units of armored vehicles. Of course, in coordination with the armored forces. Our personal score, we chalked up 7-10 hits. The enemy soon figured out they were bucking up the wrong tree. They realized they didn't have what it takes to push forward anymore. They got a bit down and decided to put the brakes on their offensive.
As a special operations group, we handle highly specialized tasks. Using a special operations group like regular infantry wouldn't make much sense. What we usually do is back up the infantry guys with our firepower. In our APC we use a 30mm cannon, Browning and Utyos. So when the infantrymen are on the move, we've got their backs. We're also the cleanup crew in towns or reinforcements on the most dangerous directions, where additional efforts are crucial. For instance, FPV kamikaze drones, which have proven themselves quite well in today's world. We have cases where $500 takes out millions of bucks. No kidding. Or we deploy an anti-tank group equipped with Javelins or ATGMs to target specific objectives.
At the moment, the enemy steers clear on the FGM-148 Javelin strike zone to keep their gear safe. They used armored vehicles sparingly, and we used to burn a lot of their armor in the past. It was easier for us back then, but nowadays the distances don't play in our favor for launching a Javelin missile too often. Our crew has got wheels, which means we are not stuck in one spot. If we are told that the enemy amping up their troops in a particular area or getting ready for an attack, we pick up and head that way, set up shop and wait for them. We had 2 cases when there were tons of heavy armor. We could barely keep up with bringing in the missiles. I am talking about the Vuhledar area, where things got seriously jaw-dropping. So we had these forest belts about 1.5 kilometers long, and they were spaced about 800 meters apart. There were, I think, around 8 of these runaways in that area. Each time the enemy would send in 10-12 armored vehicles. We had a pretty good setup there. We gave them a warm welcome, and every time the enemy rolled in, they had lose a bunch of their vehicles. They just kept trying to storm us again and again without getting the point. Another notable episode was the Vremivskyi ledge. Enemy forces intended to capture the height that our troops were defending. We could not advance to take up a front-line position to meet the enemy because it all happened extremely rapidly. So we had to pick up another spot and hit the enemy to the flank. It worked out very well, since the enemy didn't spot us. I think it's a clear failure in their reconnaissance and leadership. They paid absolutely no attention to our flank. It was like a shooting range, just blasting Javelin missiles away.
До роботи.
We eliminate them and strive to do it as efficiently as possible. Right now we've been working at a distance of 7 kilometers from our position. We've been dealing with enemy trenches and dugouts. Things are moving fast and we are on the go every day. Sometimes we even head out to positions during the night. We are ready to open fire whenever needed. We work from various spots and at different distances. Our main goal is to push them out of their positions and move forward. So, our targets are trenches, enemy-held buildings, or if our intel gives us enemy machinery coordinates, we go after it right away.
How is the mood for the offensive?
Morale is pretty high. The more we push forward and take them down, the more motivated we get.
The first unit was put together quite some time ago. It's a close-knit bunch, when young guys who have passed all the tests, because it's not easy to join us, show up, they were instantly part of our team. We never ditch or abandon anyone. It's one big family and we always have each other's backs. We will go to the end. We are motivated to keep moving forward by pure patriotism and a sense of responsibility for each other and the country. We know why we are here because we know what we are protecting and who we are protecting. It's about defending our country, our families, our close ones and our homeland.
Our fate is won, our destiny is set. We've got this historic mission in our lifetime, as they say. And we should be damn proud of it. We're in this fight till the end. Remember what Chechen President Dudayev once said. God forbid you mess with Ukrainians. You might take from them, but they'll come back and reclaim what's rightfully theirs, and they'll be darn furious. You see, we've got this fighting spirit, and no matter how damn hard it gets, we'll keep pounding the enemy until the last drop of their blood. Until we reach our state border.